Hi, and welcome to That's So Nova. My name is Nova. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, then I'm sorry, I'm turning down the volume as I'm recording. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be doing the Espresso Wallet from Lanyos, handmade. I think it's a really fast project to put together. You need all raw materials. So I'm using a combination of vinyl and waterproof canvas. And that's pretty much all you need. I actually think this is a really cool way to use up scraps because you don't even use like a fat quarter of vinyl. Also, there is a really cool quilting, like a patchwork she has in the beginning of the pattern. So without further ado, I'm going to bring you down to the first view. Please note that I'm going to put all the information on where you can buy this pattern in the description area. So with this pattern, there is a couple pieces. I did make a mock-up. I have a tendency of making a mock-up before I teach so I can go over any bumps. So this is just the mock-up. Don't judge. So you have your magnetic snap. You have 12 cards. You have an opening for cash and a zipper pocket. So we're going to go over and start this right now. So there, Lanyos designer expresses in the first couple pages that she uses a Janome HD 3000 and a Janome MC 8200 QCP. She has heavy duty sewing machines, but she makes these patterns for domestic machines. On page 7, you can see where you can do the Patchwork Espresso, and I think it's very cute, especially if you have scraps or you're trying to put together something that is unique. So the first thing you're going to have is you're going to need to get your pattern piece, and I'm grabbing it right now. I thought I was grabbing it right now. You're going to grab your pattern piece that are not missing. Oh, I'm looking straight at them. I'm sorry. You're going to need to find your pattern pieces for A, B, and C. These patterns are the wallet size, are the pockets for the card slots. So you have an opportunity to use a handmade tag, whether it's a metal one. I wouldn't use a metal one, to be honest with you. I would do one that you could sew on or glue on, because unless you're going to put a backing on it, every time you put your card there, you have the opportunity of scratching. And that's if you put your card in the wrong way, where it's the part where it's a magnetic thing or the chip. Don't do that. So you're going to grab these. You're going to do a 1/8 of an inch stitch on all the pockets. And try to look for transferring pins like chalk or tandy leather pen, and so that way you can mark your centers. It's super important to mark all your centers on this pattern because it is all raw edges and it's not enclosed. You just want to make sure that you have everything. So I'm using this chalk pen to draw my centers, and it's on black, so it's super easy to see. I'm going to be using Wizardly Stitchery's variant that's like a black gray top thread. As you can see, it's like goes from black to like gray to white, and on the bottom I'm using just 70 weight black 70 weight industrial thread from, I want to say, Amazon. So we're going to put these pockets to the side. You're going to grab your wrist strap. There are 2 wrist strap sizes. There's a more dainty one at a 1/2 inch and this one that's at 1 inch. I decided to go with the 1 inch because I am a little fluffier and I like the security of having a larger one. So you would tape the 2 pieces together and you would stitch it across. You can even do a designer stitch and stitch it like 1/4 of an inch away from the original stitching, and it'll look really cute. I decided to round out my edges because I like to be extra. And then you're going to grab your 1 inch swivel clasp if you're doing the 1 inch strap, and your 1/2 inch if you're doing the 1/2 inch. I'm going to fold this over I'm going to slide it through and fold this over. There is a measurement inside the pattern where she feels is the best way to show this. I'm going to tuck this out under, and I'm going to take a my hole punch. First, I'm going to hold this together. I'm going to take a hole punch and punch a hole through it. And I'm going to grab a male and female grommet. Not grommet. Rivet. I can't talk today. And you can center, if you have any measuring tools that can help you find the perfect center. Because I don't know about you, but whenever I eyeball something, it just does not work out. It does not look like I thought it was. So I'm going to sandwich these together. I'm going to hold this very nice and taut. You can actually sew this if like a box, if that's easier for you. And if you don't have access to rivets, you also could use a Chicago screw. And there's so many fantastic Chicago screws out right now. So I just say, hey, go for it. See how like nice that looks? It's just very classy strap. It's a good skill builder because you can use this strap for pretty much any straps, like for your bags or whatever, your bags, wristlets, and whatnot. I'm going to use my rivet set, and it's like a 2 push. Like I don't push until like I'm putting a lot of weight. It's like push, and I know the rivet is set. I'm using my my Mikas and Margot press that I got off of Etsy. They're a mom and pop company, and I have this press for like 4 years now, and they're just wonderful customer service. So our strap is all done. It looks really elegant. I love this detail. If you want to try rounding your ends, you can look for a 1 inch or a 1/2 inch round punch, and they sometimes come in die, like a punch where you hit it with a hammer, and sometimes they come in dies that you can use a press plate if you have a handheld press, like similar to what I have. So we have our strap. Very nice. My hardware today is from Emmeline Bag. I love Emmeline Bags, gunmetal, and now I heard that they have matte black. Super excited. So we're going to now grab our ring. And since this is a very, I'm doing like a Jack skeleton thing, I wanted to do something a little bit different. We use D rings on this, and I thought, why not use a triangle? Because why not, right? If my triangle is in here. Here it is. I promise you, this is not a lot of pieces, but I can't find everything. So what I have in here is twill tape, and I just used some double-sided tape to adhere it. And I went ahead and just did some decorative stitching because why not? And I'm going to feed my 1 inch D-ring or your strap holder in. From there, you're going to draw a little box. And I'm just going to, I like to measure it. It just makes it a little easier. And I'm going to draw a box and do an X. I'm going to bring this over to the machine and just make a little box. I'm at a stitch length of 4. Sometimes when I do boxes like this, I'll go 3.5, but I'm at a 4. And this is just to secure the ring to the bag. To the strap. And let me just go and do my X. You can put a rivet in here if you wish. I thought it would be a really cool design feature to do that. All right. And I backstitch 2 stitches just to secure that. I'm a big back stitcher. A lot of people like to pull their threads to the back, and I love the way that looks, but sometimes I know I'm pretty hard and heavy on bags, so I like to have that back stitch. You can use twill tape if you have that. Now we're going to grab the front closure. I'm going to be putting an exterior magnet similar to what I showed you on this one. This has an exterior. There are directions on how you can put a magnet where there's no exterior, and how you would measure down and make 2 slits and put your magnet out. But because I'm using this, I will show you, Jack Skeleton bow tie, I cannot put that on there right yet. So we're going to take our pattern piece for our closure and put 2 of them together. I haven't, wow, it's just that fabric is just trying to stick to it. I haven't glued it yet, but I'm going to put some interfacing, and I'm going to make sure it's not, I don't want it to be in the seam allowance where we're going to sew, just so I'm going to use some mid-weight interfacing. You can use like a Buckram or a Pellon 808 or Sofuse Plus, something that's a medium weight, and you can glue it, or you can use some double-sided tape. And I'm going to go ahead and use some double-sided tape. Okay, then I'm going to use double-sided tape on the sides to line this up as best as I can, so that way when I put this as a layer, it'll stick together. But as you can see, for some odd reason, my vinyl likes to stick together. I think it's the backing on it, and it adheres really well. I don't have any complaints. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark of where this is supposed to be. So I'm going to find my centers. And just draw a line or a dot or something to indicate this is where the magnet's supposed to be. I'm going to pull back my double-sided tape and line this up. All right, and then I'm going to take this to my machine and we're going to sew all the way around it. I like to backstitch 1 or 2 stitches. Take your time. And if you get to the corners, you can stop with the needle down and make your stitches a little bit smaller. It will help with the corners tremendously. Okay, so we have our flap closure. So we're just going to put this aside for right now, and I'm going to grab our pockets. And we're going to be doing a little bit of measuring and a little bit of sewing. So grab your exterior 5A and B. So I'm going to grab the exterior part, and we're going to make our first mark. And the measurement for the first mark is on page 13. And it's the second step of the last paragraph. So I'm going to, again, this is why it's important to find your centers. You want to line things up so that they last to the center. And if you're going to take a few clips. I'm using hair clips because they're long and they can keep it in position. And we're going to top stitch this on just the bottom pocket at 1/8 of an inch from the pocket. So when you put your cards in, they don't fall out. I back stitch 1 or 2 stitches just to secure it. And we're going to trim those threads. I'm going to move these, and then we're going to go to page 14. There is a second measurement right where it says number 3. For for the designer, I am not giving out the measurements, so please follow along with the pages I'm giving in the paragraph so it can be a little bit easier to understand. So I'm going to draw that measurement. Ooh, those threads, man, they just want to come out. I'm going to place it. I'm lining up my marks to make sure that everything's aligned, and you can see also when you're overlapping it with the other card. We're gonna now put this in the machine. Go 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. All right, this is looking really sleek. Okay. And then we're gonna put the last one. This is the one that has your handcrafted or your logo. I had this handcrafted that I think I purchased. No, it was either in a pet kit or I purchased it at So Magical Expo in Florida last year from Heartwood and Hyde. They just make the most lovely, lovely cork or leather or vinyl tags. I am definitely going to sign up to get some of my names plates on the tags. They have this like iridescent variegant one, and I'm just like, oh, gorgeous. So we're going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. All right, that's looking really lovely. Okay, we're going to trim our threads. And what you're going to do from here is you're going to repeat that exactly to the second side, which I've done already. So you repeat that process to the second side, and then what we're going to do is we are going to find our centers, and on page 14, number 5, she gives you the measurement to the centers, but prior to this, I did draw my center marks. There are markings on the pattern that are imperative to get this pattern to function exactly like it's supposed to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Choco marker, and I'm just going to draw the center lines. So we have that. Now, we're going to sew over this line. In the instructions, we pull the threads to the back. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to explain to you what you would do. So you would start your stitching here with long tails, go all the way down with long tails, and no back stitching. You will pull the threads to the back and tie them off. Why I do like this look, it's aesthetically pleasing. For me, I'm a person that I put 2-3 cards inside my slots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back stitch when I'm starting, back stitch over the first flat card slot, back stitch over the second and the third. No pulling the threads back. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So let's start. And I do this just because I know me, and I like to put multiple cards, gift cards, memberships, insurance cards. There's so many cards. And I'm just going back 1 or 2 stitches. Nothing spectacular. All right. God, I love that thread. That thread's so beautiful. I'm a sucker for a really nice thread. I think I like to top stitch with different contrasting threads because I think it becomes a feature like hardware or a name tag or what have you. It makes it look sometimes really super high-end and lush. When you look at name brand bags like Salvatore Ferragamo, Louis Vuitton, they like to use a lot of contrasting thread. So we're going to back stitch over the first card slot, back stitch over the second, and do the same for the third. All right, so we have that. That's all lovely. We're now going to grab the lining piece to pattern piece 5, A and B. there's marks that you put on your pattern. You're going to take your exterior piece and you're going to put your flap about a ½ inch down on it. So I'm going to draw my line where this needs to be. And this is where the magnet would be. So I would take this and I'm going to take cardslide lining B and match the centers, place the right side of the closure, this part up, with the closure flap with the wrong sides of the lining. So I'm going to make sure I do really get my centers, because I'm telling you people, I sometimes am total miss. I'm going to put that's the wrong side of my lining. I'm just going to put a clip over here. You can use double-sided tape. It says based in place at 1/4 of an inch. And this is on the wrong side. So the closure is right sides up and on the lining, on the wrong sides of the lining. This part is really crucial to this bag, is really paying attention to the marks that you made earlier so that they all match. Okay. Now we're going to place our card slide 5A that has a card slots on top, attach it to the wrong sides of your card slot B. One second. So we're going to place these wrong sides. I'm going to put some clips in some areas just to keep everything in line. You want everything to line up as best as possible because this is raw edges exposed. So take your time, clip things. So then we're going to, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I apologize. I removed this. I totally skipped a step. We did that right. We're going to base the card slots, which is important, down at 1/8 of an inch all the way around. You pull the threads to the back or you can back stitch. I'm going to back stitch because I plan on using this card for myself and I'm going to go card happy. Okay, and then while I'm here, I'm just going to pull my threads so I can go to the next one so I don't have to cut tails just yet. Pulling the threads to the back really is super elegant, really professional looking. Give me 1 second because my thread wanted to shred a little bit. So I'm going to fix that. Sometimes that happens when I use double-sided tape. It seems to happen more with the variant threads than a solid one. And I don't know why. It could be the dye. I'm not too sure. I would love to know more if you have an idea of why this, whenever I use any kind of variant thread, no matter who it's from, it has a little bit more time to like shred or bunch up. You have to stop what you're doing and fix it. I'm thinking maybe dye. I don't know. So I'm going to back stitch and I'm going to continue on. All right. So we have the cards all stitched on. I'm going to trim threads, that connecting thread from when I pulled the threads over. All right, now I'll bring this back. So we're going to line this up. I'm going to line up the top areas and towards the center so that when I'm sewing, I don't have to move clips around too much. Okay. So, wrong sides touching. We're going to sew on page 16. You're going to sew where we have the markings here to here. So let's bring that on, and I'm going to back stitch. You could pull your threads through if you wish, but again, if your thread is coordinating and blends in well, then nobody's going to see. Nobody will know. So we sewed that down together, and then trimming the thread. Sorry. Then we're going to sew down this long seam right here, 1/8 of an inch. I'm sorry, 1/8 of an inch. And since you can use glue and edge paint along prior to sewing it, you could edge paint like the card slots in certain areas prior to it. So we're going to top 1/8 of an inch, and then there we go. See, this is the opposite side. You don't want to sew along both long sides. The markings are super important on this pattern. And use a pen that I would do a test batch. Like I tested the Tandy leather pen and the chalk pen prior, and I know with the Tandy leather, if I use a baby wipe or just like warm water in a rag, it'll wipe right off. All right. So what we're going to grab is, if you're using cotton for your outside pockets, for your outside pocket linings, then there is a really cool zigzag feature she mentioned, so that way you can not have any raw edges exposed. I am not. I'm just going to find my centers again and trim this little hangy doodad off. I'm going to find my centers and just mark it. Marking it will help save so much time and help with any kind of frustration. Sometimes when I cut, I just cut too much. Okay, finding my centers. All right. So we're going to put those aside, and we're going to grab our pattern piece 6A and 6B. I'm going to put this aside for right now. On pattern A, piece 6B, you're going to draw 3/4 of an inch all the way around. You don't have to do it all the way around. You could just do a 3/4 of an inch in. It's easier for me to navigate, to see, and function better. Again, we're going to have our marked pieces. And the top of this, where the center is right here, is going to be the top of the where we're going to be closing this off. So always keep your markings. They help tremendously. We're going to, like I said, put the 3/4 of an inch, and then we're going to grab our zipper. I'm using a size 5 zipper with a decorative jack skeleton pull. And again, key thing, centers. I'm going to use some double-sided tape, and I'm going to put the first piece of double-sided tape in between the two 3/4 of an inch. You can use beacon glue as well. And then I'm going to put some double-sided tape, not very much, just enough to hold this temporarily in place when the zipper tail's in place until I sew it on both sides. And I'm going to repeat and do the same, making sure that I have the right sides up. We have the right zipper placements up. Okay. So doing all the placement marks takes a little bit of time, probably a little longer than sewing it, but it is worth it to make sure that you put them in place. All right, so we have those. So I'm going to then, I should have put them on this side too. I'm going to take my mark for the zipper placement, and I'm just going to make a little mark right there so I know this is where I need to do it. You're going to have your zipper position how you normally have it. I'm having my zipper pull go to the left, and I'm going to place this zipper, and you need to have the zipper head pulled to the center. I'm going to place this zipper right on that tape and press down, and then I'm going to pull this double-sided tape off on one side, and I'm going to curve. You're going to fold this in on itself outside of the line. Now that's the really important part. You want to be outside of the line. You don't want to be in the in-between lines, just right outside. And there will be just a little crease like that. So you're going to see me do it again. Pull my zipper teeth gently, because I have freakishly strong hands and I don't want to Hulk smash it. And right outside of the line, I'd like to fold this up and over. Okay. And just try to get that as lined up as best as you can. Fold this over. Use that double-sided tape. Then we're going to place the lining that we put on the side. So I'm going to grab some more double-sided tape. Again, you can use beacon glue. It dries relatively really fast. And I'm going to place this over. All right. And I'm going to, again, I have my center. I'm going to place this right over. You don't want to see the white, you don't want to see the white outside of it. And I also want to refold this. That looked a hot mess. You take your time, position it till you like it, you know? On the outside. All right. I think maybe I got it. All right, and I'm going to place this back over. And then I'm going to top stitch from here to here. And just make sure you measure everything and everything follows through. You can pull your threads to the back. I'm going to back stitch because this is the area that is going to be used a lot. And you can put your coins or candy. You know how I do with the candy. All right. And I'm going to trim my tails, my thread tails. And I can see I did not catch the lining here. So I'm just going to reposition this again. It just missed by under 1/16. But I'm going to reposition that and just do a second roll of stitching. It won't harm it because I'm not doing a whole bunch of, there's not going to be a whole bunch of holes. All right. And I got it. Yay. You want everything to be caught or your pocket will slip, and that would not be fun. So we're going to now take this. We're going to go back to the zipper placement. We're going to do this on the opposite side. We're going to find our centers. And then we're going to get our origami folding style down. Kind of like miter corners a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape in. I'm using some double-sided tape from Sewing Gardener. You can kind of tear it. I kind of like that. I don't know. That's, everyone has, you know, their personal preferences. Okay, pressing that down, and we're going to take this to the machine and do the same thing of stitching it in place. And keeping everything in line. All right. My suggestion is for the lighter one, it's suggested to use like Kraftex or waterproof canvas. I would go waterproof and not water resistance. Now we're going to trim down the zipper. And we're going to put the pocket together. We're going to sew up the sides. So I'm going to open this up, put a few clips so I can hold it in place. And we're going to go in where we made those marks of 3/4 of an inch and sew around it. Closing up the pocket. Keeping everything nice and taut and aligned. Trimming up everything. All right. Trimming up everything. still can't, that one rogue thread. So we have our nice pocket. So we're going to tape this down to the main exterior piece. I'm going to use just a piece of double-sided tape. Just the main exterior, not the lining exterior. Shaping it down. We're on the home stretch. We are going to measure. We're going to take our card slot and we're going to place, we're going to move the lining and we're going to measure from this part, we want to have a 1/2 inch in between. So from where the zipper teeth begin, you just want like a 1/2 inch. So I'm putting this down and I'm putting my ruler right where the zipper, I'm sorry, not the zipper teeth, where we stitched like this line, this topping. I said toppings, I'm thinking of ice cream. And I'm going to place a clip. Oops. So I'm going to the top of here. I'm lining it up. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Going to the top edge of the exterior pocket and clipping. We're going to top stitch this down. So we're going to, you went 1/4 of an inch down from the edge and it 1/4 of an inch down from the short outer layer. So it's not flush. So it winds up being just a 1/2 inch. We're going to top stitch this down like shown on page 20, part 3. So this part needs at least a 1/2 inch. So I did exactly a 1/2 inch. And we're, again, the lining is not in the way. All right. Oh no. Hold on. Okay, I apologize. I accidentally top stitched on the exterior and not the lining part. My bad. Okay, so you're going to, again, want the exterior to be taped down. See, and I stitch closed my pocket. The exterior to tape down the pocket. You're going to go to the lining and you want 1/4 of an inch to match up here, but a 1/2 inch total between the zipper tape and the edge. So I'm just going to remeasure that. I thought I pulled out all the threads, but I am notorious for missing some threads. So I'm going to mark that up and then hold it and clip it. And do the same thing on this side. This is on the lining. The exterior is not going to get sewed. It's going to go back over on the top. It's only 1/8 of an inch down. So just move, shift everything and just move the exterior out of the way. That's why there was that weird, awkward pause. So hopefully I could put a little bit of heat to the holes and it can help cover them a little bit. Not too much heat because you don't want to melt but sometimes that's my favorite trick. Let's get those threads. Okay. So from here, you're going to want to mark down your measurement for the bottom half of this. You're going to not put it through the lining, but for the exterior. So you find your center. I'm just going to use some chalk. And I'm going to measure down, and I'm going to grab my female part of my magnet so I can install it. I just want to make sure I got that center down before I put any, little slits or whatnot into my bag. Just the exterior, the lining not in the way. This. And I'm going to mark the area as prongs, where the prong marks are, and do a small slit. Nothing big. A nice sharp blade can help you with better control. I know whenever my blade is dull, it just doesn't, it's like harder to punch your holes. Apparently I didn't puncture that one enough. You could put a dab of glue right there if you wish, but because this is non-fraying, it should be fine. We're going to put the washer on it. And then you can grab a bit of duct tape or double-sided tape, electrical tape, whatever you have available, and you can place it over this magnet. And you do that so that way, as their friction naturally occurs, it won't rub against the lining and wear and tear it. Just a little bit right there. Okay. And you can put a, use some Peltex or some other like interfacing if you wish to make sure it's extra secure. So we're going to take our D-ring that we had and we're going to look at those marks. Okay. I'm just going to nestle that in between the lining and exterior piece of the exterior back. This, I know, this is the card where the card slots are going to kind of move this out of the way, and you're going to nestle that in, and you're going to line this up, and you're going to sew across this top, because this is going to be where our cash pocket goes. So just clip. I like to put a couple clips on the opposite side so nothing can shift. We're going to sew 1/8 of an inch down. That magnet is sticky. It's like trying to make everything buckle. I'm just going to move everything out of the way so I can get all the way through. Okay. And I'm just going to trim this. Okay. trim. Seems like I have to trim everything. I'm always having like rogue threads. All right. So then what we're going to do is follow the marks that we have on the exterior back too. We're going to start here on the opposite side of where the D ring is, because that's the card slot. We're going to start here, and we're going to go all the way until those previous marks. Just going to remark them on this side. So we're going to stitch here and stop, and I'm going to back stitch, and then stitch from here to here. So there's a small gap because you need that opening, so when the pocket opens and closes, you can actually put things in it. You're going over a lot of seams, you might need a hump jumper, and that's fine. If you don't have a hump jumper, then you can use a box of needles and just get that foot leveled out. So we're going to go now from that mark up and then across. Keep everything lined up as nice as possible. We're going to pivot and go across now. Keeping everything as nice as flush as possible. Back stitch. Then we're going to go, we're not going to sew this. This is where the credit card slot bar is, but we're going to go from pretty much where the D ring is and go up. Back stitch in the beginning as well as the end. All right, and let's cut some strings. I say threads, not strings. That's why you have to move those threads. And that's the reason why I kept the bobbin black, so we can easily like blend in. Okay. All right. So we're going to put the magnet on. This wallet is pretty much done. So what you could do now is you could edge coat if you wish, or like if you have it similar. Come on, should have the threads. Come on, let's get these. If you have everything together, you can just it's magnet close and you're done, and you don't have to worry about any edge coat. I do have a couple videos on edge coating if you are interested. You also can use beacon glue to hold it together. It's really your call on that. Let me put this magnet on so you can see the finished product. I need to get my screwdriver, my magnet facings, my male part, and the screws. So I'm going to center this. I like these fancy little magnets. They can give your bag a little like pizzazz. And yes, pizzazz is the word. Just going to make sure my holes are big enough for the screw. All right. I'm going to place, I'm not a fan of my hole punch. It doesn't do the best job like I want but you work with what you got, right? I'm going to now take the facing that I used as a template and put the magnet in there and fold it towards itself. These magnets, the thinner ones, they're really easy to like fold, but it also could be a me thing. Oops. All right. We're gonna put this other screw. And I never tighten the first screw until all the other screws are in. There we have it. We have a really threadbare. I'm gonna use my lighter in a minute just to get all the threads. We have a really, really nice wristlet wallet. You can now remove all your markings and it's ready to go. You have your 6 pockets. You have your cash or paper notes, Post-its. You have a nice zippered pocket and a wristlet. This is like the perfect on the go bag, wallet, clutch, whatever you wish to be. And then you can use different themes like decorative Chicago screws or decorative magnets, and it can just be perfect little gift or perfect to sell at craft fairs or online events. So that is the espresso wallet, and it comes together quickly, especially if you don't accidentally put the wrong piece in it like I did. But you can see how easy it is to fix with it. This is a really fast wallet, fun. I think it's a perfect gift for yourself, for others, and I also think it'll be a really good things at markets, because you can make it decorative, put like rainbows, a rainbow magnet, or Mickey Mouse, or whatever your heart desires. There's so many different magnets out there. So if you have any questions in reference to this pattern, please comment down below. If you like this video and you want to see more from Lanyos patterns, please comment what patterns you would like to see from them for me to do a tutorial on, as well as if you can like, subscribe, and comment. It helps the channel out tremendously. If you still want to do some more actions and help out further, I do have a Ko-fi, and I'll put it in the description box, as well as I'll put it as a pinned comment, and I will put the information for this pattern and where to get it in there. So until the next time I see you, I hope you have a wonderful day, stay safe, and happy sewing. Bye.